Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to change the way the world eats. My name is Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, performance, productivity, brain nutrition coach. Basically, I help people to use nutrition as a precise tool to improve the way you look, feel, and deliver your absolute best performance in this world. Guys, today is Wednesday and we are continuing our conversation about energy systems in our body, and optimizing energy for our brain, because then if our brain has enough energy, we're going to be able to make the best decisions for the rest of our body and our life, believe it or not. When the brain has everything it needs, like all the energy, all the conditions to do its best job, like there is no limit to what you can achieve. Your body gonna be better, your health gonna be better, your fitness, your work, everything. Simply because you're gonna be in a better state to make your best decisions. So today we are talking about energy again. And specifically, we are talking about energy made from fats. You might be in a state right now where you want to lose some weight, burn some fat. Maybe the holidays were about a lot of delicious things, right? And you might be working on that goal. But also, it is important for the body to be able to burn our own fat, on our body, and also fat in our food for energy effectively, to have this flexible metabolism that sometimes can burn glucose and carbohydrates for fuel, sometimes can burn fats for fuel. The more flexible our metabolism is and our metabolic pathway of energy delivery, of energy creation are, the more flexible they are, the easier it is for our brain to get energy from different sources, and the easier it is for our brain to be at the best state to, again, make better decisions and deliver our best work, our best performance at any time of the day. So there are a few aspects that I'd like to go over today. Number one, a lot of people ask me, well, Angela, you talk about carbohydrates and how certain carbohydrates are better and important for energy, for blood glucose, for continuous energy supply to the brain. But then also, you don't really eat breakfast and you do a lot of things like recording this podcast or workouts without having a piece of food in your mouth. So how does that work exactly? And also, there are a lot of people who seem to thrive on low carb and keto diets where there are not a lot of carbohydrates. Like, how does that work exactly? Well, as I've already mentioned, our body and brain, they can extract energy from different sources. They can make glucose without you having to eat carbohydrates from different sources and molecules. We can burn our fat for energy. But in order for that to happen, you have to have good machinery to burn fat for fuel. There are certain organs and digestive enzymes that we need to work to get the energy from our fat. It's not like we have fat, we eat it, or it's on our body and it magically transforms into energy on demand. No, there are a few chemical reactions that must happen in order for this process of turning fat into energy to occur. And with time, when you train your metabolism to be flexible and burn glucose and fat when there is not enough glucose for energy, with time your metabolism gets flexible and it's really easy for your body to extract energy from carbs or from fat, right? So for example, I, who've been fasting for many years and I was on keto for 5-6 years, right? So my metabolism really knows, like my body knows how to get energy from fat in food or on my body. But what is also very, very crucial, guys, please do not miss this part. For this reaction of fat burning for energy to occur, to deliver that energy source from fat to your brain and to your body. For that to occur, you need a couple of nutrients, well, not a couple, a few, but specifically a couple that are essential for this chemical reaction of fat burning for energy. One is B2 vitamin or riboflavin, and it's crucial in the fat metabolism processes. So when we need extract energy from fat, make energy from it, we need B2 vitamin, riboflavin. That's not all we need, but this is a crucial element. When we start losing weight, losing fat, the requirement for B2 vitamin increases about 50-60%. When we do cardio, it also increases about 50-60%. So if you do both, it's like doubling your requirement for B2. If you're in a keto low carb diet, that goes even further. Well, the trick is, guys, when you are on a low carb, on keto diet, you get a lot of calories from fat, and fat does not have B2 vitamin. Like fat itself doesn't have it, doesn't contain it. Then also when you are trying to diet and do cardio, changing your body weight, you also start to eliminate the richest sources of that B2 vitamin. Maybe you haven't had them in the first place in your diet, because the richest sources of B2 vitamin are steak for 6 ounces or about 180-200 grams. You're going to get about 110% of your B2 vitamin. Like, are you eating steak every day? The even better source is liver. For example, chicken liver in 80 grams or about 3 ounces has 133% of B2 requirement. Do you eat liver on a regular basis? If we take things like yogurt, you'll need to eat about 500 milliliters to get your 100% of B2 vitamin. And all the other sources, they get lower and lower and lower. So you see, it's not that easy to get your B2 from foods. And what it means is your body not going to be that effective at burning fat for energy, no matter how much of that fat you eat or you have on your body. Like if a certain chemical reaction needs a certain molecule to make it happen, and if it doesn't have it, it's not going to happen, right? And for any of you who are interested in becoming a better fat metabolizer to get more energy from fat, supplement with B2. Like there is no way around it. So B2, remember that and supplement it. It might be already in your multivitamin or if you take B complex, but look into that. If you are interested in maximizing your getting energy from fat process, again, especially if you are on a low carb on keto diet, especially if you do cardio, especially if you are losing weight currently. The second nutrient I want to talk to you about, L-carnitine. L-carnitine is an amino acid that we can eat from certain foods in smaller amounts. There is not so much of it available in animal food specifically. We can also make it from other amino acids, but for that to happen, you need to eat plenty of protein, and a lot of people do not eat. From my practice, guys, 10 plus years of my practice, people do not eat enough protein most of the time. So in order to make L-carnitine, you need to eat plenty of protein. And also the body is just not as good in converting one thing into another, especially something that is required for fat burning. Believe it or not, guys, your body is not that interested in burning your fat because it's a source of energy. So the more you store, the better when it comes to your survival. And brain wants to make sure that you have a lot of energy sources stored, right? So maximizing that is not your body's and brain main priority, if you logically think about it. And so you'd want, and why L-carnitine? Well, L-carnitine is an amino acid that is needed to transport fatty acids into cells to make into energy. So without that amino acid, that process is not going to be effective. And also for that to happen, you need a lot of vitamin C. And that's why if you don't have enough of it in your diet, if you don't supplement, I highly recommend you to look into vitamin C supplementation, plus the immune boost, etc. Right? So L-carnitine needed to transport fatty acids into our cells to make energy out of it. And as I've already mentioned, you're probably not getting enough to make this process of fat burning the most effective. So that's why I also do recommend you to supplement with it, especially if you're on a keto, especially if you're on a low carb diet, and a lot of your energy potentially has to come from fat, either in your food or on your body. So L-carnitine. But also, here is the thing, guys. L-carnitine is not all the same. There is one molecule or form of L-carnitine supplement that is acetyl-L-carnitine. Then there is another form. There are actually, I think, 4 of them on the market. But another one that you'll often see in the supplements is L-carnitine tartar. So there are 2 different molecules. And from studies, what it seems is that only one form really helps with like fat burning, and that is L-carnitine tartar. And so if you have another form that I use personally, acetyl L-carnitine, that is better for cognitive function, to reduce mental tiredness and fatigue and stick with mental tasks for longer, especially challenging mental tasks. But the point is, there are also different forms, and if you were to supplement with, that I highly recommend, with L-carnitine, look for tartar. That's gonna be more beneficial for burning fat into energy, especially for fat loss. So there are details. The devil is always in the details. You'll read so many blogs and articles, and they'll tell you, well, this is a good source of riboflavin or B2 vitamin that we talked about that is necessary for fat burning for energy. And they will tell you something like milk is a good source. But they won't tell you that you have to drink like a gallon of milk to get all that B2 vitamin, right? Or with L-carnitine, they don't tell you how much you need and what form. And you need to know those details to be the most effective at those goals that you have, to burn fat for energy, to have a flexible metabolism that can burn carbs, that can burn fat for energy, and to maximize, to make the most effective fat loss process that can possibly occur. So today we touched upon those essential nutrients for fat burning for energy, and that can help you and will help you with your weight loss, fat loss goal. That will help you to keep your metabolism flexible, to burn different sources of fuel for energy, to keep your body running, but also to keep your brain happy. And even when you don't have food, so you still don't experience lows in your mental and physical performance, right? So your body is like that. We need to switch the energy source from carbs to fat, and your body is just done. And you keep going. And that's why I personally can work till noon and work out and record this podcast and do a gazillion of other things without a single piece of food in my mouth, because my metabolic processes are that flexible. But that is not the case for most people. And I also came to this place with quite a few years, probably like a decade of practice, fasting and low carb dieting. The point of today is B2 vitamin, that is also called riboflavin. You might again already have it in your multivitamin supplement or a B complex supplement, so check for that. You need to get that consistently into your body to maximize, to optimize your body's ability to burn fat for energy. And then also L-carnitine, that is needed to transport fatty acids into our cells to burn them for energy. L-carnitine. Get it. What's my recommendation for the supplement? The form for fat burning, for fat loss especially. You want to get L-carnitine tartar, and you want to supplement with 1,000 or 1,500 milligrams of it. That's the amount that I personally recommend based on all the data. So those two things, please add into your meal plan, into your routine to maximize fat burning for energy. And that's it for today, guys. It's all about energy from fats in our food, on our body, and also about keeping our metabolism super flexible so we can get energy from whatever source is available. There is science to it. There are chemicals involved. There are chemical reactions happening, and you need to provide all the essential blocks to make this happen in the most optimized and effective way. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this information was super useful and super practical. So use it. If you have any questions, reach out. Share this episode with other people who might find it very, very useful. Let's help each other to reach our goals, to feel better, right? So share, reach out with questions. And as usual, guys, till next time, eat better daily.